we're using literally at the height of the summer 2% of the possibility of that machine. So fortunately that means it's pretty fast for you. And of course a lot of people also have questions about, well, how do you pay for that? Part of it is, the Coaster Bus Club. So I also wanted to show you a picture of what it looks like when I'm, what I do with that money. Sometimes I put a diving board off of the side of the vault there and I jump into it. Actually, no, that's not at all true, but in any case, I want to do just a quick demo to show you a couple of things here. First of all, I wanted to show you that I finally figured out how to solve this problem with the logo being square. Now when you scroll down, I can just cut Buzzy's head off there and it's still there. You can still see the current coaster. You can't really see it as much on this little tiny screen here, but what we'll have is at the top of the screen, we'll have a couple of things that kind of tease what's going on, and then below that a couple of different sections. There's been a lot of feedback about what people like to see on the home page. That's something I'd still like to hear a little bit more about. So if you have an opinion about that, feel free to post it in the suggestions forum. The other thing is, like I said, the forums, again, they're not going to be green, but here's an example of something that I think a lot of people are kind of used to now, particularly if you use Facebook. When you get to the bottom of a page there will be a button that says show more posts, and then when you click it, more posts appear down there, and if you want to read even more, when you get to the bottom, you can click that again. And you just keep getting that stream there, which is kind of a lot like what would Facebook do, so to speak. Oh, by the way, if you're ever curious about if you delete a post or we delete a post, I know you want to make fun of this guy, right? He's not here, is he? But we can still see those posts, so be careful about what it is that you post there. But anyway, so you see that it shows that actually you're now looking at several pages at a time. Here's the other thing is, for those of you who are active, you get to the thing where you're like, okay, I'm at the end of the very end of the thread here, and I'm going to post something, and then there's somebody else who goes and sneaks something in and posts something else behind you. So this is another browser, and this is somebody else, and let's say that they're going to post something. So they say, hey, okay, so they post that. And then what you'll see is, as you, the user, you'll see this button here will appear. It'll say click to load newer posts before you reply. So now, if somebody gets in something snarky and you want them to get in something snarky first, you can respond to their snarky by clicking that button, and you'll see that post there ahead of time. So that's been a real pain, especially on a busy day when somebody announces that they're tearing out. Or they're going to take out paddle excursions or something and everybody flips out by it. So you can snark away. The site's always supposed to be about the roller coasters, and for that reason, I think it's kind of I kind of been refocusing on thinking about that a little bit. So the individual park detail pages, which by the way you can still search for things up here. So for example, if you were searching for something like Dipper. You've got all those, you can kind of cycle through those in real time there. But what I did is I kind of backed off all of those different little bits of things that we had and kind of put them in tabs and really kind of focused on the actual coasters themselves. So it's a lot easier to kind of see, hey, these are the coasters at any particular park. For those of you who keep the track records online, and that was a feature that I honestly had no interest in, but there was a lot of asking for it and whatnot. You got a coaster database, let me keep track of that. You'll be able to just click this button to turn on or off whether or not you've been on that ride. And it's just right there. Okay. So for example, then if you look at a specific page like for Millennium Force, again we want to kind of bring the ride to its we want it to be the big focus, right? So we're using your contributed photos to kind of highlight, hey, look, there it is. That's Millennium Force. That's the page that you're on. There's no doubt about it. And then again, I was talking about the very clean lines and whatever. The thumbnails for all the pictures are going to be very streamlined, nice, tight squares and whatever, so that you can kind of browse through those. In fact, I don't know if anybody if you guys have seen this photo before, but who do you think this guy is in the front row? Give you a hint, he retired recently. just wild coincidence. I'm standing in Camp Snoopy when I took that picture, and who happened to be in the front of the ride? That always amused me. But in any case, so that's kind of that's kind of where things are standing. You know, all the things that you're used to, the meeting calendar and the track record functionality, that stuff will all continue to be there. But I don't have a specific timeline. It's supposed to be the end of February. Actually, I thought, hey, it's to have an extra day, right? Yeah, it's not going to happen that quick. So that is the blessing and the curse of being a parent now at this point. But the site is still driven largely by you. Obviously, it's the forums, but it's also about contributing, you know, your photos. And there are going to be a couple of other things that are going to be very. Hey, Pete, this is the picture I was talking about. Just FYI. The site really is largely still something that comes from your contributions. So we certainly appreciate that. Anything that you can offer is super helpful. I did want to take. I did want to go one time. I guess one more time to talk a little bit about the. Give Kids the World. We've been, it's been a couple of years now that we've been kind of supporting that charity. Reasons for my personal reasons is you know, I had a friend who grew up and had a lot of health issues when she was growing up. At one point, you know, doctors saying, you know, you should make sure that your affairs are in order. You know, it's like to say that to a kid who's, you know, to the parents of a kid who's 7. And so to go through something like that and fortunately come out the other end of it, obviously is a good thing, but a lot of kids don't get that opportunity. And I don't know if any of you were here during Coasting for Kids this year, but you know, every year that we've done, we've had families who are wish families who've spent time down at the little mini resort, and you know, it really helps you kind of put things in perspective. I think we take this hobby, I think, maybe for granted sometimes. I mean, especially when you have these wonderful people buying us lunch and whatnot. We've done over $100,000 in donations total since we started Coasting for Kids a couple years ago, and just this thing today is $1,500, just like that. I understand that obviously these are great opportunities to donate, but if you can set aside a little something extra, even if it's $10, $15, $20 or something like that, at some point during the year, go to their website and give them a couple bucks. I mean, it really does make a difference. They are still at a point where their capacity is not high enough to reach the demand, and they have partnerships with different hotels in the Orlando area that will, you know, take kids on as necessary if they can't find a place for them at the villas. But in any case, it's really it's a great charity, and I certainly appreciate your support of that group. And I thought John was going to be after me, so. But in any case, that's all I've got. Again, I really appreciate everybody coming out today and really being able to put every dime of this event into something for Give Kids the World is pretty awesome. And I want to thank everybody from Cedar Point for taking their Saturday to do this for us, because God knows that we didn't have to. But here they are, and here we are, and glad you all came out today. So thanks for coming, everybody.
Again, like Jeff said, thank you guys very much for coming out. Again, lastly, a big round of applause again for John Hildebrandt. And Leah Lexington, again, for coming in. Such a thing, 7 o'clock this morning from LA. So she wanted to come here and show you guys. She wanted you guys to be the first to see all that about luminosity. That was the first public appearance of that information, of that music. And you guys were the first to hear it. Again, a big thanks for Jeff and Walt for putting this together, for Point Buzz and Hildebrandt. Again, Brian's going to beat me up at the end of the day for having this, but a big round of applause for Brian in the back. Again, thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed the tour, hope you enjoyed the food, and we'll see you hopefully this summer. Thanks.